Welcome. Today, we're diving into the concept of back pay for Social Security disability. If you've applied for disability benefits, you might have heard this term and wondered what it really means. Back pay refers to the money you're owed for the period between when you became disabled and when your benefits actually start. Because the application process can take months or even years, back pay is designed to make up for the time you waited. In this video, we'll break down how back pay works, why it exists, and how the Social Security Administration calculates the amount you're owed. Let's get started by understanding the basics. Back pay is a lump sum payment you receive from Social Security if your disability claim is approved. It covers the period from your established onset date, the date Social Security determines your disability began, up to the date your benefits actually start. This is important because the approval process can be lengthy, and you shouldn't lose out on benefits just because of administrative delays. Back pay ensures you're compensated for the time you are eligible, but not yet receiving monthly payments. Now, let's look at why back pay is necessary in the first place. The Social Security disability application process can be slow, often taking months or even years to complete. During this time, you may be unable to work and have no income. Back pay exists to ensure that you're not financially penalized for the time it takes Social Security to process your claim. It's a way to make things fair, so you receive benefits for the period you were disabled, even if approval comes much later. This system helps provide financial stability during a challenging time. Next, let's talk about the key dates that affect your back pay calculation. There are three important dates to understand when it comes to back pay: the application date, the established onset date, EOD, and the approval date. The application date is when you first apply for benefits. The EOD is the date Social Security determines your disability began. The approval date is when your claim is finally approved. Back pay is calculated based on the time between your EOD and the date you start receiving benefits. Understanding these dates is crucial for knowing how much back pay you might receive. Let's explore each date in more detail. The application date is simply the day you submit your claim for Social Security disability benefits. This date is important because it sets the earliest possible point from which you can receive back pay. If you wait to apply, you could miss out on months of benefits. That's why it's crucial to file as soon as you become disabled and unable to work. The application date is the starting point for the entire process, so keep records of when you apply. Next, let's look at the established onset date, or EOD. The established onset date, or EOD, is the date Social Security determines your disability began. This date is based on your medical records, work history, and other evidence. The EOD is critical because it marks the beginning of your eligibility for benefits. If Social Security agrees with your claimed onset date, your back pay will be calculated from that point. If they choose a later date, your back pay may be reduced. Understanding how the EOD is set can help you maximize your benefits. Now, let's discuss the approval date. The approval date is when Social Security officially decides you qualify for disability benefits. This date is important because it marks the end of your waiting period and the beginning of your monthly payments. However, your back pay is calculated from your EOD, not your approval date. The time between your EOD and your approval date is what creates the need for back pay. The longer the process takes, the more back pay you may be owed. Next, let's talk about the 5-month waiting period. For Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, there's a mandatory 5-month waiting period after your EOD before benefits can begin. This means you won't receive payments for the first 5 months of your disability, even if your claim is approved. The waiting period is designed to ensure that only long-term disabilities qualify. When calculating back pay, Social Security subtracts these 5 months from the total period between your EOD and your approval date. Let's see how this works with an example. Let's say your established onset date is the 1st of January 2022, and your claim is approved on the 1st of January 2023. That's a 12-month gap. However, because of the 5-month waiting period, you're only eligible for back pay for the 7 months after the waiting period ends. So your back pay would cover July 2022 through January 2023. This example shows how the waiting period directly affects the amount you receive. Next, let's discuss how back pay is paid out. Back pay is usually paid as a lump sum, meaning you receive all the money you're owed at once. For SSDI, this payment typically arrives within 60 days of your approval. For Supplemental Security Income, SSI, back pay may be split into up to 3 installments, depending on the amount. The Social Security Administration will notify you when your back pay is processed. It's important to check your bank account and keep an eye out for official letters. Now, let's look at the difference between SSDI and SSI back pay. SSDI and SSI are 2 different disability programs, and their back pay rules differ. SSDI back pay is based on your work history and is usually paid in one lump sum. SSI, on the other hand, is a needs-based program and large back pay amounts may be split into 3 payments over 6 months. The rules for each program are specific, so it's important to know which one you're applying for. Understanding these differences can help you plan for your finances while you wait for your benefits. In some cases, you may be eligible for retroactive benefits in addition to back pay. Retroactive benefits cover the period before you applied for disability up to 12 months prior to your application date. To qualify, you must prove you were disabled during that time. Retroactive benefits are only available for SSDI, not SSI. This can significantly increase the amount you receive if your disability began well before you applied. Next, let's see how retroactive benefits are calculated. To calculate retroactive benefits, Social Security looks at your established onset date and your application date. If your EOD is more than 5 months before your application, you may be eligible for up to 12 months of retroactive pay minus the 5-month waiting period. For example, if your EOD is 10 months before you applied, you could receive 5 months of retroactive benefits. This calculation ensures you're compensated for the time you were disabled but hadn't yet applied. Now, let's talk about how medical evidence affects your back pay. Medical evidence is crucial in determining your established onset date and, ultimately, your back pay. The more thorough and convincing your medical records, the more likely Social Security will agree with your claimed onset date. This can maximize your back pay and retroactive benefits. Be sure to provide detailed documentation from doctors, hospitals, and specialists. Accurate records can make a big difference in how much you receive. Next, let's look at how appeals can affect your back pay. If your initial claim is denied and you appeal, the process can take even longer. The good news is that back pay continues to accumulate during the appeals process. If you're eventually approved, you'll receive back pay for the entire period from your established onset date minus the 5-month waiting period. This can result in a larger lump sum, especially if your case takes years to resolve. Let's move on to how attorney fees are handled with back pay. If you hire an attorney to help with your disability claim, their fees are usually paid out of your back pay. Social Security limits attorney fees to 25% of your back pay up to a maximum set by law. The agency pays your attorney directly before you receive your lump sum. This arrangement ensures you don't have to pay out of pocket while waiting for your benefits. Next, let's discuss how taxes might affect your back pay. Back pay may be taxable depending on your total income for the year you receive it. Social Security will send you a tax form showing the amount you received. You may be able to spread the income over previous years to reduce your tax burden. It's a good idea to consult a tax professional to understand your obligations and avoid surprises. Now, let's look at how back pay affects other benefits you might receive. Receiving back pay can affect other benefits, such as Medicaid, Medicare, or state assistance programs. For SSI recipients, a large lump sum could temporarily make you ineligible for certain needs-based programs. It's important to report your back pay to all relevant agencies to avoid overpayments or penalties. Planning ahead can help you manage these changes and protect your eligibility for other support. Next, let's talk about how to check the status of your back pay. You can check the status of your back pay by contacting the Social Security Administration directly or by logging into your online account. The agency will also send you official letters about your approval and payment details. If you have an attorney, they can help track your case and provide updates. Patience is key, as processing times can vary. Let's move on to what you should do if you think your back pay amount is incorrect. If you believe your back pay amount is incorrect, you have the right to appeal. Review your award letter and compare it to your records. Mistakes can happen, especially with complex cases. Contact Social Security as soon as possible to request a review. Providing additional documentation or clarification can help resolve the issue. Next, let's discuss how to use your back pay wisely once you receive it. Receiving a large lump sum can be overwhelming. It's important to budget your back pay carefully to cover essential expenses like housing, medical bills, and debt. Consider setting aside money for emergencies and future needs. If you're unsure how to manage your funds, a financial advisor can help you make the most of your back pay. Next, let's look at how back pay can help you catch up on bills and improve your financial stability. Back pay can be a lifeline for catching up on overdue bills, rent, or mortgage payments. Many people use their lump sum to pay off medical debt or other urgent expenses that piled up during the application process. Prioritizing your most important bills can help you regain financial stability and reduce stress. Let's move on to how back pay can affect your credit and financial future. Using your back pay to pay off debts can improve your credit score and financial outlook. Eliminating overdue accounts or catching up on missed payments can make it easier to qualify for loans or housing in the future. However, it's important to avoid taking on new debt just because you have extra funds. Responsible money management will help you maintain long-term financial health. Next, let's discuss how to protect your back pay from scams. Unfortunately, receiving a large sum of money can make you a target for scams. Be wary of anyone asking for personal information or offering to help you for a fee. Only work with trusted professionals, and never share your Social Security number or bank details with strangers. If you suspect fraud, contact Social Security or law enforcement immediately. Next, let's look at how to keep good records of your back pay and spending. It's important to keep detailed records of your back pay, including award letters, bank statements, and receipts for major expenses. Good documentation can help you resolve disputes, prove eligibility for other benefits, and manage your finances more effectively. Organizing your paperwork now can save you headaches later. Next, let's discuss how back pay can affect your eligibility for needs-based programs. If you receive SSI or other needs-based benefits, a large back pay payment could temporarily make you ineligible due to asset limits. It's important to report your back pay and spend it on allowable expenses, such as medical care or housing, to avoid losing benefits. Some programs allow you to set up a special needs trust to protect your eligibility. Consult with a benefits counselor for guidance. Next, let's look at how back pay is handled for children's disability claims. Children who qualify for SSI disability benefits can also receive back pay. The rules are similar to those for adults, but the funds are usually paid to a representative payee, such as a parent or guardian. The money must be used for the child's needs, like medical care, education, or housing. Keeping receipts and records is especially important for children's back pay. Next, let's discuss how overpayments can occur and what to do if you receive too much. Sometimes, Social Security may pay you more back pay than you're entitled to, especially if your circumstances change or there's a clerical error. If this happens, you'll receive a notice and may be required to repay the excess amount. It's important to respond promptly and work with Social Security to set up a repayment plan if needed. Ignoring overpayment notices can lead to penalties or benefit reductions. Next, let's talk about what happens if you owe child support or other debts. If you owe child support, federal taxes, or other government debts, Social Security may withhold part of your back pay to cover these obligations. This process is called an offset. You'll receive a notice explaining any deductions. It's important to understand your rights and responsibilities if you have outstanding debts. Contact Social Security or a legal advisor if you have questions. Next, let's look at how to appeal if you disagree with a deduction. If you believe a deduction from your back pay is incorrect or unfair, you have the right to appeal. Review the notice you receive and gather any supporting documents. File your appeal as soon as possible to avoid delays. Social Security will review your case and make a determination. If you need help, consider working with a legal aid organization or attorney. Next, let's discuss how to plan for your financial future after receiving back pay. Receiving back pay can be a turning point in your financial life. Take time to create a budget and set financial goals. Consider paying off high-interest debt, saving for emergencies, and planning for ongoing medical expenses. If you have questions about investing or long-term planning, a financial advisor can help. Next, let's look at how to avoid common mistakes with back pay. Some common mistakes people make with back pay include spending it too quickly, failing to report it to benefit agencies, or not keeping good records. Avoid these pitfalls by planning ahead, reporting your payment as required, and saving documentation. Careful management will help you make the most of your back pay and avoid problems down the road. Next, let's discuss how to get help if you're struggling with your finances. If you're unsure how to manage your back pay or have trouble making ends meet, there are resources available. Nonprofit organizations, legal aid, and financial counselors can provide guidance. Don't hesitate to ask for help if you need it. Managing a large sum can be challenging, but support is available. Next, let's look at how to stay informed about Social Security rules and updates. Social Security rules and procedures can change over time. Stay informed by checking the official Social Security website, reading your mail carefully, and consulting with professionals as needed. Keeping up to date will help you avoid surprises and make the best decisions for your situation. Next, let's review the key points we've covered about back pay. Let's recap the essentials. Back pay compensates you for the time between your established onset date and when you start receiving benefits, minus the 5-month waiting period. It's usually paid as a lump sum and can be affected by appeals, attorney fees, taxes, and other benefits. Careful planning and record keeping are crucial. Understanding the rules can help you maximize your benefits and avoid common pitfalls. Now, let's answer some frequently asked questions about back pay. One common question is how long it takes to receive back pay after approval. For SSDI, most people receive their lump sum within 60 days of approval. For SSI, payments may be split into installments over several months. Delays can happen, so it's important to stay in touch with Social Security and your attorney. Next, let's answer another frequent question about how back pay is calculated. Back pay is calculated based on your established onset date, application date, and approval date, minus the 5-month waiting period for SSDI. For SSI, back pay starts from your application date. The amount you receive depends on your monthly benefit rate and the number of months you're owed. Social Security provides a detailed breakdown in your award letter. Next, let's answer a question about retroactive benefits. Retroactive benefits are only available for SSDI and can cover up to 12 months before your application date, minus the 5-month waiting period. You must prove you were disabled during this time. SSI does not offer retroactive benefits. If you think you qualify, provide thorough medical evidence to support your claim. Next, let's answer a question about attorney fees and back pay. Attorney fees for disability claims are capped at 25% of your back pay, up to a legal maximum. Social Security pays your attorney directly from your lump sum before you receive the remainder. This ensures you don't have to pay out of pocket while waiting for your benefits. Next, let's answer a question about taxes on back pay. Back pay may be taxable, depending on your total income for the year you receive it. Social Security will send you a tax form, and you may be able to spread the income over previous years. Consult a tax professional to understand your options and avoid surprises. Next, let's answer a question about how back pay affects other benefits. Receiving back pay can affect your eligibility for Medicaid, Medicare, or other state programs, especially for SSI recipients. Report your payment to all relevant agencies and plan for any changes in your benefits. If you're unsure, seek advice from a benefits counselor. Next, let's answer a question about what to do if you disagree with your back pay amount. If you think your back pay amount is wrong, you can appeal. Review your award letter, gather supporting documents, and contact Social Security promptly. Providing clear evidence can help resolve the issue quickly. Next, let's answer a question about how to use back pay wisely. It's wise to use your back pay for essential expenses first, such as housing, medical bills, and debt. Consider saving some for emergencies and future needs. If you're unsure how to manage your funds, seek advice from a financial professional. Next, let's answer a question about protecting your back pay from scams. Protect your back pay by being cautious with your personal information. Only work with trusted professionals and never share your Social Security number or bank details with strangers. If you suspect fraud, contact Social Security or law enforcement right away. Finally, let's wrap up with a summary of what we've learned. To sum up, back pay is a crucial part of Social Security disability benefits, helping you recover financially after a long application process. Understanding how it's calculated, how it's paid, and how to manage it can make a big difference in your financial well-being. Remember to keep good records, report your payment as required, and seek help if you need it. With the right knowledge and planning, you can make the most of your back pay and move forward with confidence.